Ashley Howard with Ashley Howard Teaches, and today we'll be doing Cycle 1, Week 1 Science. Now, if you're like me, sometimes when tutoring, science gets put off to the very last, and let me tell you, that is a hard place to be in. Well, that's why I am here to help you. I would love to walk through the next 24 weeks with you and help you do these science experiments. I'll have them prepared, ready, so that you'll know exactly what to say, exactly what to do, and so you won't feel like you're failing when you come to class. So let's start off. Today we're going to be bringing out our beans. So you should have 10 to 12 beans ready. And also I want to encourage you that you need to have some beans soaked the night before. But let me give you my pro tip, because sometimes I forget to read ahead and that morning I might be scrambling. So what I did was I tried to pour water over it under the sink, and it worked. So you can peel the seed coat off very carefully and get it to come up and still find the parts that you're looking for if you just run it underwater and peel very carefully. So I hope that helps someone out there. So as you look at your beans, I want you to get excited and tell your kids all about how God created these. So I think sometimes we get stuck in the experiment and what it says, and we forget, man, we want these kids to know the Lord and know Him well and know how creative His creation is and point everything back to Him. And that's why I love to use Lou Giglio's books. I don't know if you've seen them. There's 2 different books, but they're science devotionals, Indescribable or How Great Art Thou God. I think that's how you say it. A lot of people out there have them coordinated to which chapter of the book for which week of science. Now that is for your science that is in your memory work and not for your hands-on science. But I find it a great time if we have a slow science week and our experiment is going to take 10 minutes max and we've talked through everything. This is a great time for you to read those devotionals. Talk about the Bible verse, talk about how God made us, and pray with these precious children. I love to do that. So let me show you the science experiment real quick and we'll get started. If you have older kids, this is a great time to teach them about this science. So I like to start a week earlier for CC as we get prepared. So I will have my older kids help me. So I had my older child make this diagram of a bean. And what does that do? It concretes their knowledge. But if you don't have an older child, or maybe a child who's not interested, you can do this yourself. I like to have it drawn out. I like to have it where they can see it. Because even though I have the bean and I can show them, it's small and there's a lot of people. And so I think it's great to have this drawn out here. I also don't have any balloons because all of my sweet children use them as water balloons. But what I would love to do is have something also for them to feel and touch that's 3D. So I love for them to have a balloon that has all of this labeled on there. Make it fun, make it exciting for them so they can look around and see the parts and make it in a bigger thing. Now, this is nothing that you have to do, and this is in no way endorsed by CC. I'm just an independent person doing these videos so that you can learn more about science. I know CC is stick in the sand, but this is something I found fun that's also visual that I like to do when I am in the classroom. So I love to have this labeled out just like this. Really easy, really simple, and it gives them a visual so that as you're pointing, they can also see it really big as well. So what we will do this week is we will look for the hilum. So what I like to say, so the hilum is this little, let me get it up here, is this little tiny part in the middle. So what I like to say, it's kind of like the belly button. It's where it was attached to the plant. It's kind of like when we were attached to our moms in their belly and they provided us food. This is kind of like the plant was connected to the seed, and this is called the hilum. So we will move on to the micropyle. In the micropyle, it's just this tiny little opening, and that is where the little bitty pollen can enter. So it's a tiny little hole, and you'll have to get them up close. And what I would suggest is when you're doing this, don't hand out your beans until you're done talking. Here's what it prevents. When you start talking, all these busy hands are gonna look at their seats and they're going not to hear anything. Tell them, hey, if you turn on your listening ears and you listen really good, if I see you're listening so good, then afterwards I'm gonna hand out a bean for you to look at and explore too. And I'll come by and you can tell me the different parts of this seed. So that's a great way to keep them engaged. And then when you do come by, help them label each part. Get them excited about it. Have them practice with their parents before you come by and see. So that way they really come home with that knowledge. So then we'll talk about, so we've talked about the micropyle, we talked about the hilum, we talked about the seed coat. That is when we will pull out our seed that was in the water and we put it in the refrigerator so it doesn't get gross and all yucky. So that will keep it fresh. And so as you peel this open, show them. And what I like to do is I like to have some that are fresh beans and then some that are already peeled, enough for everyone to have in their own hand. Now you may not have enough for that, but for me, I like for them to all be able to handle these things. Again, until I'm done talking, I don't want to pass these things out because I lose attention completely. So let me show you what it looks like after it has been moistened and you can see the inside. And you will see your hypocotyl and your epicotyl after you have peeled off the seed coat. This is what your bean will look at. And do you see this cute little thing that is formed right here inside? So it almost looks like a tiny little stem emerging out. It's kind of hard to see. So here we go. So now you can see right here. So as you look, there's a part on the top, and as you get towards the bottom where this little point is on the inside, you have the hypocotyl and you have the epicotyl. Now your epicotyl is where your leaves will form. So that's exciting. So you can tell them, hey, on top you have your on top the hypocotyl, and then down at the below you have the epicotyl. And that is where what will form? Your leaves. And so I like to have a giant leaf to show them. Maybe I've cut one out or colored one and I say it forms your leaves. So I want these kids to be excited about learning. I want them to be full of excitement and surprises so that they really cement that knowledge. So let me move on and tell you some more about this great unit. So as I said before, I love to have visuals. So I will have this out so that they can see for themselves. We'll go through it and I might have a fun pointer and I might have each student have a fun pointer. We'll have a glove, I might bring a little hand, I might bring a princess wand, I might bring a dinosaur, something for each student to come up and they can touch the different parts. So what do we have here? We have the hypocotyl, we have the epicotyl, we have the radicle and the cotyledon. So I'll tell you about those parts in a minute, but we'll go through each part of the seed. And after we've done that, after they've gotten excited about that, then I can pass out the beans and they can start to observe again these different parts. So I'll hand out my beans that have been peeled. I probably will let them peel that because that's an exciting adventure for them to be able to peel those. I also like to have a lot of pinto beans on hand. I like to send them home, and this is just an extra, you totally don't have to do this. I like to send them home with a bag with a wet paper towel with a bean inside so that they can go home with their name with a Sharpie on it so that they can go home and grow their own seed. Because I think there is something so exciting about that. And we'll tell them just as God is excited about you growing and learning, God is excited about this little seed. He loves the plants, He loves the animals, and He loves you. So that is a great way to keep going with this lesson, for them to internalize it, knowing that God loves them, that they were created for a purpose, and that He loves all of His creation. So as you open your seeds, you will see as these seeds, as you look inside, wow, you can see so much detail and it's so hard to see in these videos. So then as I'm teaching about the cotyledon, which is actually some food supply and nutrition for the seed as it germinates, you're gonna start at the top and you're gonna go to the bottom. So you're gonna say hypocotyl, and then let's go to the cotyledon. So you're gonna go down here. So in these bottom portions, right here, the seed, you will see the cotyledon. So right down here on the opposite side of the hypocotyl. So you will find the cotyledon, and then you will talk about the radicle. And where is the radicle? So guys, this is so hard to see, but let me show you. So your radicle, so if you have your hypocotyl and then your epicotyl below, at the very bottom of it is your radicle. So your radicle is what forms your root. So say R, radical root. R, radical root. And I like to show them the sign for R and ASL. So R, radical root is one way that we can learn and generalize that. Make it fun. I might dance around a little bit and say R, bar, radical root. So silly things that get them excited about learning and make it fun. Now, I am so excited about this because I love gardening. I have an acre garden where we love to plant. And so teaching kids about gardening is such a passion of mine. So I love for them to learn how God made these plants. So be sure to include when you're talking to them all about how creative God is, how He made these by His hands, and how exciting that is. So I hope you enjoyed this science lesson about beans. I will be doing this every single week for Cycle 1. So I am so excited. And if you'll hit that subscribe button and the bell button, you won't miss any weeks. I would love to hear from you. How long have you been doing CC? What are you excited about this year? What are you worried about? Tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear, and I would love to show you. I will have linked below each week for tutor planning for foundations, so you will see that in there as well. And let me know any questions you have. I will also be doing fine arts if that is something you are interested in. So let me know in the comments below if you are interested in fine arts. And thanks for coming today. I will see you later. Goodbye.